Nope. I'm not looking at you, Daddy. You can scratch me all you want. I refuse to look at the camera today. Maybe a bit. Hi, humans. Okay. Is that okay, Daddy? Did I do good? You did awesome, Kaiba. Good boy. Good evening, Magic players. Card collectors of all kinds. Welcome back to the channel. I'm here tonight to do something special for you guys. Couple things. We're getting near the 50 subscribers on our channel, which is really cool. And I wanted to do something special for you guys in honor of that. So, it's not really a big thing, but a lot of people have been asking if I had arena codes. I do not play on MTG Arena, and so I have 5 different arena cards. I don't know what they come from. I don't know what they belong to. They're just random arena cards I've pulled from random products throughout my journey in Magic since I started this channel. And what I'm going to do is when I hit 50 subscribers, I am going to make a video where I encourage everybody to comment, and I'm going to pick 5 people at random in the comments, and each of them will get a code. So, yeah, I'm going to hang on to those just up here for you guys, and hopefully we will hit that special mark soon. In the meantime, I have a fun little product for you guys tonight. I am using the Yu-Gi-Oh! Playmat, which is not Magic related, of course, but I felt it was the most fitting playmat for tonight's opening, because the other day I mentioned that I had found a couple of sealed products at the random game store that my friend had mentioned for me to go to, and the other one happens to be something we've seen on this channel before, and I'm excited to bring it back. It's another one of those classic decks that Anthony used to play when we used to do weekly Magic with Anthony on the channel. And, yeah, it's a deck that I always was kind of jealous of him having, to be honest. Because it's just a super fun deck to play. And so I am excited to present to you the Dungeons & Dragons Commander deck. Dungeons of Death. Anthony did a really good job of upgrading his deck on the channel. You've seen it before. We never actually did deck profiles for any of Anthony's decks, unfortunately. It would have been kind of cool if we did those back in the day, but I didn't think of it at that time. I, however, am going to take this precon and upgrade it myself with a bunch of different dungeon-related cards, and I plan to eventually post the upgraded version as a separate video. But for now, let's see what the precon actually has inside, and we'll go from there. So we will open this up. We've got all the extra cardboard and stuff there. We'll just pull that away. I like the deck box. The artwork on the deck box is really nice. Hopefully that unblurs a bit for you guys. There we go. It's very nice artwork. As always, we get our deck. We get an insert explaining things about our deck. And a dungeon counter. I don't normally hang on to these, but I actually kind of like the look of this one. Let's see what the lore says. Dungeons of Death. Sephirus of the Hidden Ways. Sephirus is a member of an adventuring party that is trying to make a name for itself on the Sword Coast. With her companions... Oh, it's a her. I didn't realize it was a her. Good to know. The barbarian Vrondris, the warlock Prosper, and the Paladin Gallia. Sephiroth hopes to expand her knowledge and magical power by exploring ancient ruins, defeating powerful monsters, blah, 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 blah. I think I have the Gallia deck, too. I don't have the other two. As a member of the Wizards class, power gained from study of ancient tomes and forbidden lore. Cool. Very nice. It's got some nice stuff there at the bottom, too, about Nihilor and Mean Wily Illusionist. Cool. Alright. Put that aside. Let's get into the deck, because we all know we want to see that. This is one of those decks that predates before we got the somewhat cool, somewhat kind of chintzy, depending on how you look at it. I always enjoyed them. Extra pack of 2 collection cards. We don't have that with this deck, because it's one of the older ones. Alright, so we'll just get right into this, and we'll go through the deck, and it'll probably be a bit of a shorter video. Whenever one or more creature cards are put into your graveyard from anywhere, you venture into the dungeon. This ability only triggers once per turn. Whenever you complete a dungeon, you return a target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. That's pretty freaking good. For a legendary, for a commander, that's really good. Backup commander is Nihilor. It's a horror. When it enters the battlefield, for each opponent, tap up to 1 untapped creature. For each opponent, tap up to 1 untapped creature you control. When you do, gain control of target creature that player controls with power less than or equal to the tapped creature's control for as long as you control this. Holy crap. Whenever you attack with a creature an opponent owns, you gain 2 life and that player loses 2 life. That is a powerful freaking card. That's almost good enough to be be a commander itself, but not in this deck. Minus containment, enchant non-land permanent. It's a treasure, and loses all its abilities. Neat. Okay, I was wondering if this card actually came in this deck, because I have a whole bunch of that legendary. I actually have a hollow version of that legendary, so that's probably what I'm going to put into this commander deck in place of that one. Dungeon Map is a great card. I do like that. Evolving Wilds. Bucknard's Everfull Purse is a fun card to play. If you've never seen that one played in a game of Commander, it is hilarious. Clay Golem. Probably won't use that, to be honest. Component Pouch. Remove a component counter from Component Pouch. Add 2 mana of different colors. Roll a d20. Put a component counter on this thing or put 2 counters on it, depending on what you roll. Nice. Ronome Unicorn. Destroy target enchantment when you sacrifice this thing. Okay. Swords to Plowshares. Ooh, I like the artwork on the Swords to Plowshares. Wall of Omens. Enters the battlefield, draw a card. Forbidden Alchemy. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. Put 1 into your hand, the rest in your graveyard. Merfolk Looter. Draw a card and discard a card. Mulldrifter. Enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards. Whenever another creature dies, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Propaganda is a solid card for this deck. There's a lot of good protection in this deck. What there doesn't seem to be a lot of so far is anything that triggers the frickin' dungeon. When this thing enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature or a planeswalker. Each player who can't discards a card. Reassembling Skeleton. Shriekmaw. Fear. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target non-artifact, non-black creature. Unburial Rites. Victimize. Cloud Blazer. Enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life and draw 2 cards. Exile target permanent with mana value 4 or greater, despark. Necrotic Sliver, I probably won't keep that in there because all slivers have pay 3, sacrifice this to destroy target permanent. I think that's the only sliver in there though. Obsessive Stitcher. Still not seeing anything that triggers a dungeon. I am definitely going to have to do some serious upgrading on this deck. Arcane Signet, Burnished Heart, Commander Sphere. Immovable Rod. You may choose not to untap this thing during your untap step. Whenever it becomes untapped, venture into the dungeon. Pay 3 and a white, tap it, and for as long as it remains tapped, another target permanent loses all abilities and can't attack or block. Solid. Flying lifelink, whenever this thing or another non-token creature enters the battlefield you control, enter the dungeon. Finally, some dungeon action. Roll a d20, add the number of creature cards in your graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn. If your number ends up being 1 to 14, return all creature cards from the graveyard that were put there from the battlefield to your hand. If it's over 15, you get to return those cards to the battlefield. Nice. Thorough investigation, whenever you attack, investigate. Whenever you sacrifice a clue, venture into the dungeon. Okay. Arcane Endeavor. Excuse me. One more time. Roll 2d8, choose one result, draw cards equal to that result, then you may cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value less than or equal to the other result from your hand without paying its mana cost. Meanwhile, Illusionist. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 1/1 blue illusion creature token. With this creature gets +1/+0 for each other illusion you control. Whenever an illusion you control dies, you may put a permanent card with mana value less than or equal to that creature's power from your hand onto the battlefield. Holy crap! That is insane. Phantom Steed. Flash. When it enters the battlefield, exile target creature you control until Phantom Steed leaves the battlefield. When it attacks, create an attacking token that's a copy of the exiled creature, except it's an illusion, and sacrifice the token at the end of combat. Rod of Absorption. Player casts an instant or sorcery spell, exile it instead of putting it into the graveyard. Sacrifice this thing, you may cast any number of spells from among cards exiled with Rod of Absorption with total mana value X or less without paying their mana cost. Crap. Grave Endeavor. Ooh, with a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to that result, then each opponent loses X life and you gain X life where X is the other result. Shit. Wand of Orcus. Whenever a creature attacks or blocks, it and zombies you control gain Death Touch until end of turn. Whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, create that many 2/2. Ooh, damn, I like that. Extract Brain. Target opponent chooses X cards from their hand. Look at those cards. You may cast a spell from among them without paying its mana cost. Midnight Pathlighter. Creatures you control can't be blocked except by legendary creatures. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, venture into the dungeon. Cataclysmic Gearhulk is an awesome card. Enters the battlefield, each opponent chooses an artifact, a creature, an enchantment, a planeswalker from among the non-land permanents they control, and then sacrifices the rest. Eternal Dragon is a dragon spirit. Nice. Plane Cycling is good. Karmic Guide, flying protection from black. Has an echo cost, which sucks. When it enters the battlefield, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. That's good, though. Sun Titan is amazing. We all know how great Sun Titan is. Sunblast Angel, flying. When it enters the battlefield, destroy all tapped creatures. Ooh, shit. Champion of Wits. When it enters the battlefield, you may draw cards equal to its power, then you can discard 2 cards. Curator of Mysteries, flying. Whenever you cycle or discard another card, you scry 1. Phantasmal Image, you may have it come in as a copy of any other creature on the battlefield except it's an illusion, and when it becomes the target of a spell or an ability, you have to sacrifice it. Doom Necromancer. Sacrifice Doom Necromancer, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Ooh, nice. That's not bad. Necromantic Selection. There's a lot of get stuff in the graveyard and get stuff back out of the graveyard in this deck, which is pretty cool. When it enters the battlefield or dies, exile target permanent. Baleful Strix is good. Hostage Taker. When it enters the battlefield, exile another target creature or artifact until it leaves the battlefield. You may cast that card for as long as it remains exiled. And you can spend mana of any type. Nice. Utter End. Solemn Simulacrum. I love that card. Choked Estuary. Darkwood Catacombs. Exotic Orchard. Gear Reach Sanitarium. Taps are colorless. Pay 2, tap it. Each player draws a card and then discards a card. Solid. High Market is a good one. Nimbus Maze. Oh, that's interesting. So it taps for white if you have an island, it taps for blue if you have a plains, but it only taps for colorless if you have neither. Never seen one like that before. I'm sure Anthony probably played it a bunch in his deck and I just never really realized it. Add 1 mana of any color, Felwar Stone, Meteor Golem, Sol Ring, Wayfarer's Bauble, Arcane Sanctum, Azorius Chancery. Many more lands. Lots and lots more lands. Ooh, Lightning Greaves buried in the back there. And then just a ton of lands. We got our super thick Hollow Commander. And we got some nice tokens. Illusions. With some skeletons and some zombies. And a Champion of Wits token. Ooh, cool. Clues. Which become treasures and golems. And we have 2 of the 3 dungeons. Tomb of Annihilation and Dungeon of the Mad Mage. The one I don't have is the Undercity, which I need to get a copy of that one too, because that would be cool to have. But, in the meantime, I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing and opening of our Ventures into the Dungeons of Death deck. Like I say, I plan to do a bunch of upgrading on this deck, and when I get it completed and suited to the way I like it, I will be sure to make another video showing you guys an update on the build. In the meantime, thanks for tuning in. Cab has gone ahead and crashed, so I'm just going to go ahead and do the outro. Much love to you all. From me to you, take care, and bye.